What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours. We are going to be, of course, covering the full interview of Joan Laporta with the media following the previous transfer market, where Laporta gives his assessment, everything that he thought throughout the whole entire transfer market. Returning to the one rule, the sale of Gundogan, the signing of Olmo, how he trusts Flick, how he's confident with the work that Deco has done, relationship with La Liga and Javier Tebas, and the rules. Basically goes into details on everything behind the scenes of what happened during the last summer transfer window, and also what's to come as well heading into the January transfer window as well. We also have some big injury updates around Christensen, Frankie de Jong, Ansu Fati, and a big one around Fermin Lopez. It ain't looking good, bruv. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. And let's get into it. Let's start off by covering and discussing Joan Laporta's interview with the media via, of course, Barca 1. He was supposed to speak to Raccoon on Monday. I don't know why that didn't happen. There's no news reports about it being canceled, but it just didn't happen. But it was the one interview that he was going to be doing, talking and discussing, of course, the transfer market, where Barcelona currently sit financially, what the plan is, of course, for the medium and long-term future. He discussed a lot. This is going to be, of course, the majority of this video. I would say 95% of this video will be this interview. I'm going to go through it quickly, of course, as fast and effectively as I can. And I'll give you guys my input, my analysis, and my opinion as well. So let's get cracking and let's see what the president had to say about Barcelona's action over the previous summer and their action, of course, to come as well. So he started off with an opening speech saying that we are working on strengthening La Masia as the base of our sporting project. This is thanks to the members. What they have given us is emotional stability. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to save the club. The attacks will continue, especially when we are doing well. Now that the Aguirre case is coming up again and they can't be supported anymore. This, by the way, is hilarious that there's, of course, the agenda that every time Barcelona wins a game, there's an Aguirre case news the next day, or when Real Madrid drop points, there's an Aguirre case news the next day. The fact that the president is picking up on this is quite hilarious. There's also a debate that the team is supported by the club. It's still a debate. Those who have supported Barcelona have always been the members because Barcelona is theirs and they love it. A lot of debate online about whether Barcelona should become state-owned. Absolute pricks, the lot of them. We have held on and we are winning. We are better off economically, socially, and sportingly. The disablers from the outside will have to work harder to make us falter. The president and the board of directors receive criticism and we accept it or to improve, but we reject any proclamations to disable Barcelona. We are stronger than ever with more determination to complete the recovery of Barcelona. Now he continues on also by saying that what we are doing is saving Barcelona in the shortest possible time and without putting our future and association model at risk. We are also building the Spotify Camp Nou, which is almost a reality. It's a collective dream of Barcelona fans. We have done it with the support of Barcelona members. We have come out of this dead end. We want to say that we are very happy with the coaches that we have. La Masia has an impact on the first team. It is the backbone of our sporting project, and we are very satisfied with the work of Deco. Thanks to him, we have Flick, and he's done a great job in renewing the club's youngsters. The good understanding that Deco and Alexandro have made has led to this. Another of Deco's merits is the creation of the squad and the restructuring of the sporting structure as well. Deco and his team with Boyan and Endrick have done an extraordinary job in the registration of players as well. An extraordinary job that has been done that I want to recognize. He is the architect of the signing of Dani Olmo and Pau Victor as well. Again, it's part of his opening monologue. Nothing really to discuss here. He's then asked firstly on the return of the Spotify Camp Nou, and he said that everything right now is going according to plan to host matches at the end of this year. We don't want to set an exact date, but we are convinced that this is the reality. Everything indicates, despite the obstacles, that we will be able to play at the Camp Nou by the end of 2024. This keeps us hopeful we will achieve positive results on a regular basis by being in the Montjuic. We have stopped earning 100 million euros, over the course of a season, from the match day. So the interest is returning to its maximum. Now, I will say this. I will be beyond shocked if we return to the Camp Nou this year. I have, based on the videos and the images and the gifs of the reconstruction of the Camp Nou that I see on a daily basis, I cannot bear to see how we're going to play there come December. I still believe that we will be playing, I think our first game at the Camp Nou, in my opinion, will be after the Spanish Super Cup at some point. I would say somewhere between middle and end of January. If we get the before the end of the year, perfect. I'll hold my hands up, but this is just my opinion based on what I know, what I've seen. I would be quite surprised if we do play at the Camp Nou by the end of this year. But what's clear is that that is the plan. Of course, they are eyeing the last game before the Christmas break against Atletico Madrid. That, of course, will be absolutely huge. Here's the big question. Joan Laporta was asked on returning to the 1-1 rule, where we currently at, what's the state, why are we not there, blah, blah, blah. He said all clubs in La Liga are having difficulties right now. We will get to the 1-1 rule, but the sporting space does not always concede with the economic pace. We are a club that generates more money than it spends with significant investments and the best contracts on the markets. We could have been in the 1-1 rule this summer. The easy thing was to say it was a good contract, but we have thought about it and it can be improved. We will be in the 1-1 rule, but it would always be welcomed if La Liga were a bit more flexible without neglecting the economic control. They have been very strict with their rules. It could be more flexible. It would help all clubs. He's basically saying, look, we could have gone back to the 1-1 rule this summer easily with, good contracts, but we want the best contract possible for this club because we are the best club in the world. We generate the most money, so we want the best contract out there. We can't go out and get the best contract all willy-nilly. You have to negotiate and improve. Well, although that is logical, and I understand that from a present point of view, he is doing 100% the correct thing. When the squad is thin and we need improvements and we need to get back to the 1-1 rule in order to do that, I don't know. I'm very much on the fence on this. He's basically saying here, look, with the Nike deal, pretty much, we'll talk about that later on, that he can of course renew with Nike tomorrow on a good deal, but he wants the best deal possible. He wants that fixed bonus. He wants that annual salary per season plus variables. He wants to get the best for Barcelona, and that unfortunately takes time, which I guess, it is what it is. But again, he is saying that we will be back in the 1-1 rule. He was then asked on the signing of Nico Williams this summer, saying that I'll allow myself to talk about the players who aren't ours. I won't comment on aspects of players that we don't have in our squad. So he chose not to comment. Then asked on the Joaos. This was so interesting. In the team's configuration that Deco and Flick had made, they decided not to include the Joaos. They were on loan and they gone back to their separate ways. Joao's now at Chelsea and Cancelo is in Saudi Arabia. So all the reports that we got, Laporta wants to keep them, Jorge Mendes, Deco gave the green light, Hansi Flick gave the green light, according to Joan Laporta, is all crap. Because when we had that picture of Flick and Deco playing the squad, he said once they ended the squad planning, the Joaos were not there. Which, makes sense because we never made any approach, any movement whatsoever for Cancelo or Felix. But again, that contradicts every single report from all the media outlets saying that Flick gave the green light, Deco gave the green light, Laporta gave the green light, Jorge Mendes is going to work on it now. So I don't know, maybe the reports were wrong. It does line up a little bit with the fact that, again, we never negotiated once with Atletico Madrid or Man City in any regards whatsoever. Neither was Jorge Mendes meeting with them to represent Barcelona. We had no reports of that whatsoever. Of course, Chelsea got signed Felix in about 4 days. Cancelo went to Saudi Arabia in the space of around 48 hours. So that does kind of line up in the end. Let's continue on here. On the injuries, with the coach, players, and fitness trainers that we have and the atmosphere in the dressing room, there is a family atmosphere with lots of commitment. Shout out for Xavi for that. He was, of course, the main obstacle, the main, cornerstone for that. More signs have been made, such as Casado and Bernal, who have established themselves in the first team. Gerard Martin and Sergio Dominguez have also come up as well. When the break is over, we hope that De Jong will recover, and then later Gavi. Today, we had bad luck of Fermin Lopez's injury with the national team. He has played a lot of games this summer, and now he has been injured. We hope that Christensen and Arujo will also recover. They will join throughout the season. After the break, Frankie is expected to return. We of course recovered Alejandro Balde over the summer, and he is in right now dynamic form. Deco, who will also soon do an interview with Barca 1, will explain the setup. So I'm not going to touch on this too much. I will speak on injuries at the end of the video, but again, Laporta is saying that Frankie de Jong should be back after the international break. That is of course key, and also that Deco will be doing an interview with Barca 1 very soon, and he'll speak about, of course, the logistics in regards to the squad. Laporta's talking about everything from the club, everything finance, squad, everything like that. Deco, of course, will solely handle the first team dynamics, so expect a Deco interview video coming very soon. Now, on Dani Olmo's registration, Laporta said that we will now have the chance to be in the 1-1 rule, and the final registration will be extended. It will have to, of course, take advantage of Christian's solution. The doctors with Dr. Ricky Pena worked very well with the medical report that they, of course, concluded and, of course, gave to La Liga. The La Liga Medical Committee also declared Christian's long-term injury, the Achilles tendon, and we hope that he does have a quick recovery. Saying that, look, by the time that January hits the deadline, December 31st for Dani Olmo's registration, he will be fully registered because we will be back in the 1-1 rule by then. Then, as on Barca Vision, saying that Amermac impact on Barca Vision is 15 million euros, which La Liga has calculated for us. We accepted it. We now have a well-structured shareholder, and we are willing to recover this. All the technological and audiovisual businesses will generate a lot of income for the club. We are working on more ambitious budgets of the 40 million euros from Liberal, a company listed on the Frankfurt market, which had, protagonist professionals. They were, of course, non-payment. We want compensation for that. I'm convinced that we can meet our expectations. So again, confirming that Liverpool did not pay, and we're now, of course, going to be searching for that payment. Then, as on Ilkay Gundogan's departure, very, very interesting, as this has sparked a lot of debate online. Laporta said this: Ilkay Gundogan is an excellent player and person. The year that we had him for, he was fantastic. After a meeting with Flick and assessing the situation of the squad, he decided that he wanted to leave. It is a sporting decision exclusively. With the incorporation of Dani Olmo, he was also a player who performed in a similar function to that of Gundogan. It is a sporting decision of the player and the club. I have heard that there's a financial reason behind it, but that is not the case. Wow. So, I have been, of course, very adamant on the channel for the duration of the summer when the rumors came out about Turkey and Gundogan from the beginning, saying that, look, he's on high wages. He's just a short-term solution beyond belief. If Dani Olmo's coming in, I said this in June, by the way, before Dani Olmo come in. If Dani Olmo comes in, I think it would be best to move on Gundogan. It's quite clear now, the way that Hansi Flick played, that Gundogan maybe wouldn't have worked in that double pivot as well, because he can't sit. He can't, tempo the possession. Of course, he can do those roles, but that's not his best suited. His best suited, of course, is playing in the 10. In the 10, of course, we have Dani Olmo, our new big signing. You have Pedri. You have Gavi, who can play there. You have Fermin Lopez, and you have Rafinha. 5 players that I would say 4 of them are ahead of Gundogan in that position. So it makes sense. People are bringing up how Gundogan said in his farewell message that, oh, if I can financially help the club, I'll leave, no problem. Which, again, him leaving did benefit us financially. But again, the main reason has always been sporting. I've been saying this for so long. We could have kept Gundogan and registered Dani Olmo. Because look, if Gundogan was still here, for example, we could have used Christensen's injury to cover Dani Olmo's registration perfectly fine via Article 77. Because, of course, we had just a little bit of room left with FFP, and then Christian kind of opened it up for Dani Olmo. So if Gundogan was still here at that point, we still would have been able to register Dani Olmo via Article 77. Again, it is quite clear that it is a sporting decision on why Gundogan left. The economic part of it, the economic portion of it, is a bonus, and I do believe that was a deciding factor. Look, you're on 200,000 euros a week, 360 gross. You're not going to play that much. I think it's beneficial for everyone, including yourself, for the end of your career, and for us financially, that if you walk. And he ended up walking, and I think, it's a solution that everyone came happy with, and I think everyone will walk away with it, with no quorums whatsoever. And I think if there was bad blood, Gundogan would have already came out and said something. He, of course, was doing interviews recently. He was asked on Barcelona, saying, look, I loved it there, I had a great time, nothing there whatsoever. Also shows when he left, the only farewell message he got was Ter Stegen. They're both from Germany. No one else said goodbye to Gundogan. When other players left, we got a lot of goodbye messages, or maybe just a picture saying take care, like a simple line. Nothing with that with Gundogan, so read that as you will. Laporta then continued on talking about Javier Tebas, and I have spoken with Tebas, and to get back to 1-1 rule, now we need around 60 million euros from achieving this relationship with more facilities to register players. Again, this is already confirmed in the media during the final few weeks of the transfer window. We can get them through various means, such as a personal guarantee. We can't get to the 1-1 rule without Deco's work. He has more than double what La Liga has asked for. There are various ways to achieve 1-1 rule, and we hope to have it done by October. Again, this will probably be via the Nike renewal. I said in yesterday's video, when are we getting back to 1 rule? I'm very confident we will, but when, no one knows. Laporta is saying October. Do I believe him? No, I don't believe him. I believe the fact that we are just last second FC, and I think we're probably, December 30th we'll sign the deal with Nike and we'll get back to one rule. I just, we just do everything last second. Then as on excessive optimism, saying that I don't think that excessive optimism has been sold. I like to generate hope and motive. We didn't get to the one rule because we didn't want to. We would have signed the contract for sporting equipment. I respect your work in reporting and opinion, but this type of agreement requires discretion. If you have any questions about reporting, I'm nobody, but it's very easy to call the Barcelona communications team so they can inform you or guide you on what the club is working on. We can explain it as it is. I like to motivate and convince. I don't like to, have fake proclamations so that people believe in things that are not true. We are very satisfied with the work that we are with our executives that are doing. I said, of course, many times it will take us 10 years and we will complete the necessary recovery in 3. So again, he's basically saying that, look, the reality is I don't have excessive optimism. I keep it as real as I can. When we first came in, people said it would take us 10 years to recover to natural health. We've done now in almost 3 years. We could have gotten to the 1-1 rule, yes, but I wanted to get the best deal for Barcelona. You guys are reporters, so you guys have a different perspective from what I see. I see all the fine details, how we can improve, how we can, sign a contract that's, blank for, $5, but if we work on it for another 2 months, we can get $50. So stuff like that Laporta was trying to, transmit to the media based on his question. He was then asked on the templates, and at this time we said that we could make significant investment, and we did that through Dani Olmo. Again, not wrong there. Everyone thought he was talking about Nico Williams, but again, Dani Olmo is still the same price as Nico Williams and still a big investment. He was a player that we needed at the moment. We signed Dani Olmo and Paulo Victor. We have high hopes. Defensively, we have a very compact team. When we recover the injured players, we'll have a very powerful midfield. We have a high-level front line as well. The same goes for Barca Athletic. I think we have a good squad set up there as well. We have a coach who is very clear about how to play, plus physical trainers who are giving us great results. Then as on the Nike contract, and the sports equipment contract that we are going to sign will be the best contract in the world of football. It is being negotiated right now. I would love to explain it, but there is so much material on this deal that you could write a book about it, about this whole entire process. The thing is that I'm bound of a confidential agreement, and until it's closed, I cannot explain the negotiation process, saying that, look, this is going to be the best deal and the biggest deal sports-wise for any club in the world. I would tell you guys the details, but of course, contractually, he cannot. Then as on Gundogan leaving again, said that, look, it is a sporting decision by Barcelona, by Gundogan, and by City, because he has been through, he went, of course, back there. At the time, Gundogan came to us for free, so we only be fair that we let him go for free without any transfer fee. It was not an economic, it of course had an economic impact, but that was not the reason behind his departure. It was strictly a sporting decision. Exactly what I said 2 minutes ago. Again, him leaving does of course benefit us financially, but in the end, the final call was based on sporting reasons. And again, I saw it coming. You saw it coming from a mile away based on the players that we had in the squad where Gundogan would play in Hansi Flick's system. Again, remember, Gundogan in the end was more so of a Xavi signing than anyone else. He's then asked on Flick, saying that we are demanding from Flick work, professionalism, to be a coach who lives day by day with intensity, to be a coach who offers us football that we like. We are in agreement on everything that he is laying out for the foundation of the objective to be met this season. He is a man who does not look for excuses and to make do with what he has. That for me there is such a key line. I think one of the reasons why Laporta hired Flick at the end of the day is that he is a yes man. He will do whatever he has with what he has, and he'll try to do his best. Unlike Xavi, who would try to do his best, but he would start to complain, which again is, I'd probably do the same thing if I'm being honest. He is demanding, but we want no specific He is demanding, but we have no specific title set. What Flick wants is what we want, and we will work on that to achieve it. No title set, and I mean, that's a bit suspicious, but again, I think if we go trophy list, I mean, Flick's job will be on the line. Then Laporta was asked on Deco, saying that I was afraid because of course with Deco, there's been a lot of reports coming out that he wants to leave Barcelona. The club released a official statement saying that's not true whatsoever. He's very committed and he wants to fulfill his contract. He was then asked on this, and Laporta said that, look, I was afraid for his health because everything was very stressful for him. This summer are extremely stressful, but I was not afraid of him, of his continuity at the club. We have enough confidence, and he is very happy. He says here, I was afraid for his health, but the last time I checked, Deco was doing a lot more flying and vacation than he was working and negotiating. That's all I'm going to say there. He's then asked on the Super League. Of course, it's gone quiet on the Super League when I was doing the live stream for the Champions League draw. A lot of people asked me about the Super League. I said, look, there's been no real updates, but now we have something. He said the Super League is still in its current state, is working to have, the audiovisual platform for its launch. It's still there. This has helped UEFA move forward with the new Champions League format. Now they're giving out 500 million more. We are improving, but everything can be improved. The Super League figures are much more attractive, but anything that involves evolution is welcome. I am excited about this new Champions League format, and I'm happy that there is more matches with interesting matches in the stadium. So Laporta is happy there's more games? I mean, as a neutral, as someone who wants to make money, as, you know, business overall, seeing your team play more and making more money, I understand that. But from a fan point of view, and from the, you know, player fitness point of view, it's not really the greatest to have more games. He then asked on the Nike contract again, saying that it's been 7 years since that happened. I can't talk about the specifics of the negotiation, the Nike contract, or whoever. This contract does not impact the accounts of the 23-24 season. It would impact the accounts of the 24-25 season. It is an agreement that has been worked on by a lot of parties. It will be the best agreement in the world of football. Then asked on the relationship with Real Madrid, saying that relationship with Real Madrid is really, really bad right now because they have appeared in the Nigeria case against us. We have many complaints of false statements around 20, and let them continue what they were doing, and we will also continue what we are doing. So he's basically saying that, look, we were, of course, when Laporta first came in, the relationship with Florentino Perez and Real Madrid was really, really good. But with the Nigeria case, Florentino Perez kind of turned his back on Laporta, and since then, it's never been healed whatsoever. Then he was asked, oh, Victor Roque is a partner, saying that, look, we had 4 clubs in for him, as well, of course, as Betis. Who wanted Victor Roque the most. Now we will have the opportunity to showcase that he's a great player, and we have high hope that he will be able to show his quality with Betis in La Liga. Then he was asked on January signings, bloody hell, again, another huge topic in my opinion, and he said that yes, because we are planning to be in the 1-1 rule earlier than the start of the January transfer window. So again, based on his timeline, renew with Nike in October, you're in the 1-1 rule by November for sure. So by his timeline, we will be well established in the 1-1 rule by November. So it makes it easier for you to register players if you're not in a precarious situation. We have planned for it. We are very happy with the players that we have. I'm sure that Deco and his team are working on the medium to long-term future. And of course, we do plan to get to the 1-1 rules. So not confirming or denying any signings in January, but of course, in order for us to do so, we have to be in the 1-1 rule. And he is clearly stating that we will be back in the 1-1 rule 100% by the time that January hits. Pretty much. Then he was asked on the sponsorship on the pants, of course, for the first time in the club's history. And look, we were working on it. There was an agreement in principle. We had to make some adjustments. I think we will reach an agreement with those who we want to reach an agreement with in principle. There are still details that are important to us that need to be achieved. Then he was asked on Xavi, saying that, look, Xavi is a person I really appreciate. I thought alongside my fellow board members that we had to give the team a new input. It was a club decision. I've always been grateful for Xavi. He came to us at a difficult time, won this league and the Spanish Super Cup, but last year things didn't go too well. I still have the same relationship of appreciation that I have with Xavi. We had to make the push, and I think that Flick has the conditions to have a new push in the squad. Again, he said this, I said this from before. On Eric Garcia, said that we're very happy to have him. Flick values him as a midfielder after Bernal's injury. Girona did want Eric Garcia, but so did other clubs. If Flick wants him, we are delighted to have him. He is an excellent lad. So again, confirming the interest for Eric Garcia. On the physical intensity of the squad, I think that Deco could explain this better when he does his interview, of course, with Barca 1. I see a lot of intensity. When I spoke to Julio Toulouse, he told me that they will use different systems, much more based on movement. It's true that the training sessions are very dynamic and they work a lot on strength. The physical trainers are very satisfied with the results and are convinced that they will be able to meet the coach's demands. I have been able to see this when we played, of course, against City in preseason. I asked Flick if he was happy with the performance, and he said no, because we only pressed until the 70th minute. Bloody hell. He was then asked on Fermin Lopez, saying that we have a very good relationship with the Spanish national team. We have to respect them, as of course we always try to ensure that the players are not overworked. They would have liked to have Lamine Yamal go to the Euros and the Olympics, and Fermin's case, of course, it is a shame with football independence. The first thing is to get angry, but then you understand that everyone does the best they can. Then he was asked on the schedule, and he said, what makes me think is that we have to regulate the effort of the players. We have many young players who need special treatment. I think Flick will do this very well. We have to be thinking carefully about the minutes and the effort to find the balance, and of course, most importantly, avoid injuries. Then he was asked on Suarez, of course, who announced that he will be retiring from the Uruguay national team. He's playing his last match, I believe, this Friday. And he said that on Suarez, look, he is an extraordinary player. He's a very nice person, very kind. I don't have him when I didn't have him when I was the president. He helps us a lot. He has a very good relationship with Deco and with people around the club, and also with, of course, Ronald Araujo. I hope he does very well with his new life. Barcelona is his home, and we will be glad to have him as part of the 125th anniversary of the club next year. I send him my regards from here. Then asked on, of course, Madrid and signing Mbappe, saying that I'm focused on Barcelona. We started the season very well. We now have the pleasure of winning 7-0 against Valladolid. We show great football with quality and intensity. We are hopeful and excited, convinced that things will go well for us this season. Then he's asked on the people, say the people ask for everything. On most occasion, I find words of encouragement and support. Coming here, I met my father and a son that were very excited. I want to be close to the people. Players from all over the footballing world have asked me. At the moment, the world are full of support. I respect those for criticism, and I prefer to speak well. But if they don't, I still, of course, do respect that as well. Then as on Flick and La Masia, saying that I'm more than satisfied because Flick has understood that La Masia is our treasure. La Masia has many players, but it has to be brave in putting them in the first team. The central of our project is La Masia, and I'm very happy that this has been putting in the first team. He is a coach who does not look for excuses. He's the real decision maker. He has seen the talent in La Masia, which is greater than any other club in the world. Then he was asked on the Amarmac remaining money, saying that look, there are partners who have put in 10 million euros, but La Liga discounted it. We didn't reach the 25 because we had to do 30. It was a technical reason. I am very happy, of course, with the agreement that we do have with the Amarmac, and that will be, of course, helpful for us when we start to plan more for Barca vision. Of course, he mentioned again about Flick understanding La Masia. He was then asked on Lewandowski, of course, his contract, how big he is a player for the club, and all that sort of stuff. And he said, look, Lewandowski, he is a player who is committed to the club. When he heard that we had made some efforts to reach fair play, he said that he would lower his contract. This, for me, I already like Lewandowski, but this now puts me over the edge where I have to say I love Lewandowski. So there's been more reports coming out about this following Laporta's words. I think Catalunya Radio came out saying that among the options Lewandowski had proposed to the club in order to help with fair play was to reduce his salary in exchange for a year longer on his contract. So he's basically saying that when we had, struggles with FFP registration, Lewandowski contacted Laporta saying that, look, if you need my help, you want to reduce my salary, I had no problem doing that. We could extend my contract for 1 year to, defer the salaries further, keep the, salary the same. But of course, on FFP, it will ease it. So shout out to Robert for that. My freaking striker. Forever grateful to him. Also, that we've gotten good results since the start of the new season, and we hopefully have the best year possible as well. And finally, Laporta concluded on how he will get the 60 million left to achieve the 1-1 rules, and that with the increase in the sports equipment contract, we have already fulfilled it without the need for Barca vision. So right there, he's saying that the Nike contract renewal is enough to earn the 60 million euros left. Of course, the club want to get 100 million euro sign-on bonus, so more than enough to get the money needed for the return to the one rule. Otherwise, if we do Barca vision, we would already be there with the saves that we have made with the players. We need to generate 20 million euros from us. Barca vision had a debt of 40 million euros, which has been compensated partly due to Amarmac. On Saturday the 15th, we had to pay one of the partners at the end of the season as well. We had to prepare with alternatives. If we do the sports equipment contract with the increase in income that we already had, we'd be at the one rule because we would comply with the payment obligation of Barca vision. So saying basically, look, Nike renewal is enough. However, we do have other avenues ready in case the event is not the reality. Of course, with Barca vision as well, we can tweak things to make us, steps and steps closer in regards to returning to the 1-1 rule. Wow. So big interview there. Of course, I think the key factors there were, of course, returning to the 1-1 rule by the January transfer window. The Joao is now being in the plans as well. The reason why Gundogan left, negotiation via the Nike contract, his trust in Flick as well. A lot of big topics there were discussed. And again, it's transparency and clarity. People talk that, Laporta's a liar. He doesn't talk whatsoever, but he's a president that always speaks his mind and gives factual proof every single time. Does he lie sometimes? Probably. Did he lie during this interview? Probably. Wouldn't put it past him, but again, he's a politician at the end of the day. Every single president, prime minister, every country lies at some point, but they do what they think is best for the club. What I like about Laporta the most is that he does have, of course, the model of trusting La Masia and putting nothing above the club. So again, he could have signed the Nike renewal in the summer to make it easier, gotten a good deal overall, but nothing again above the club, whether it's a 1-1 rule, Leo Messi, whatever the case may be, and he wanted to get the best contract from Nike. So we'll see if he was right or not. We'll see if that decision was, the right move when the end of the season comes, and what titles that we win, how we've won them, what injuries we've suffered, could have been improvements that we had if we were in the 1 rule. That's all going to be, of course, in hindsight. But for now, it is what it is, and we'll wait and see how things do develop. Again, we're going to have to keep an eye out for Deco's interview with Barca 1. That will be huge in regards to first team movements, sales, signings, who we were linked with, who we want in the future, stuff like that. His communication relationship with Hansi Flick, that will be a big one that, of course, will be coming out in the next few days. But of course, overall, very strong interview from Joan Laporta as per usual, and wait and see how things develop from now until January, with the hopes, of course, of returning to the 1-1 rule. let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 24 hours. Firstly, we do have an update in regards to a new signing, which I talked about, of course, in yesterday's video, and now it was, of course, yesterday officially announced and confirmed by Barca Athletic. And again, yet again, Barcelona making some strong movements in the African market. Barca Athletic officially announced that Barca Athletic and Ghanese team Dream FC have reached an agreement for the loan deal of Abdul Aziz for 1 season until June 30th, 2025. The agreement includes a purchase option for Barcelona at the end of the season. So we talked about, of course, we signed David Odoru, and then the next objective for Barcelona via the African market was to sign Abdul Aziz, and we've now done that a day later following those reports. So we'll see how he does with Barca Athletic. Of course, with him being in the B team, he will be somewhat linked with the first team. Maybe he will train with the first team. He does really well with Barca Athletic. All these things are going to be intertwined. It is a loan deal, and of course, this was completed on deadline day. The papers were submitted then. That's why the deal now has gone through a few days later, and there is a purchase option. We don't know what the fee is for the purchase option, but we'll wait and see. Again, it's basically a trial period that we talked about. He's going to come in on loan. We're going to, I think, cover his salary, which will probably be next to nothing with Dreams FC. And if he does well, we'll buy him. If not, of course, we'll ship him back to Ghana with Dreams FC. But again, another good signing and another way of Barcelona, accruing talent around the world of football. And again, this is Joan Laporta's initiative to tackle the African market. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss for an end of his video is, of course, injury updates. We suffered another one with Spain. Fucking hell, man. Fermin Lopez is out for 3 to 4 weeks as he has a quadricep injury after running an MRI with the Spanish national team. He has now been sent back to Barcelona. Again, of these 3 to 4 weeks, 2 of them will be right now during the international break. So you probably will be back pretty early on after we come back from the international break. I think you'll probably miss the first 3 games against Girona. The 2 other weekends that we have that slipped my mind, I think one of them is going to be, of course, in the Champions League. But I think he will be back around the end of September. So it's not the worst case in the world, but again, another annoying scenario where Barcelona get, a niggling knock for Fermin Lopez. And again, this is probably coming off for the back of him playing a lot of minutes, him wanting to come back for training preseason very, very quickly. Hansi Flick, of course, had to force him to take 10 days off. So hopefully it's not nothing reoccurring, just a little knock for Fermin Lopez. But yes, he is injured. He will be out for around the next month, but hopefully we'll be back by the end of September, since of course now there is international breaks. He won't be too long out with Barcelona. We do also have some updates in regards to Frankie de Jong and Ansu Fati, with Mundo Deportivo reporting that both Frankie de Jong and Ansu Fati are expected to be back after the international break. Of course, Laporta did say this about Frankie de Jong, and we'll wait and see how things do turn out. But that's the objective for Barcelona. That's the plan right now, that both will be back. I have no doubts about Ansu Fati returning. Of course, he's now fitting in the timeline of when he got injured before, of course, preseason. Frankie de Jong, of course, is the big 50-50. He's going to come back and play, or he won't come back and he'll be going to do surgery. Then he'll be out for around 3 to 4 months. Now, Ronald Koeman, of course, the manager of the national team, who did confirm, and he kind of gave us the last verbal update on Frankie de Jong heading into the Euros. He's asked again with the Dutch international duty on Frankie de Jong's situation. He said that, look, Frankie de Jong's situation is worrying because it's a long time since he's been out for. I understand that things are getting better and better, but he's not fully fit yet. He has suffered an annoying ankle injury 3 times in a row last season. There's damage, and it takes time, of course, to recover. That takes a lot of time, but let's hope he recovers completely. That will be, of course, good for us, Dutch team-wise. So it does suck with Frankie de Jong, and again, it's really annoying that he suffered the same injury 3 times in the right ankle. I think the Valverde shot really, pushed it over the edge, tried to rush it back, of course, for the Euros, but didn't in the end. Now he's taking his time, so we'll see with Frankie. All I'll say is this: if he's not back after the international break, the eruption around the media, no one will be saved. And finally, we do have an update on Andreas Christensen as well, with Mundo Deportivo reporting that almost the entire previous last season, Andreas Christensen was dealing with this Achilles tendon problem while playing. He's essentially on the considered treatment and won't have any surgery. Last season, Christensen started 37 games, but substituted out of 26 of them, and 9 times during the halftime break. Xavi did not make the decision on the technical or tactical basis. The player's Achilles injury prevented him from continuing. So again, he was very important for us last season. That's why he didn't go under the knife. That's why he wasn't, he's just doing conservative treatment to just play as much as he can. That's why he came off at halftime a lot. But hopefully now with this conservative treatment that he's going to be doing over the next month or so, he'll come back with no recurring issue. Which, of course, it was Hansi Flick that approved this. Usually, Christian will probably go through the pain and just play anyways, painkillers, or do whatever he can to play. But Flick, of course, as he mentions, wants players at 100%. And that's why Christian now will undergo some conservative treatment over the next month. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me hear your thoughts on everything we discussed. The two main things I want to know, of course, firstly, is on Joan Laporta's interview. What were the key points? What were the points that you liked, disliked? Do you overall have confidence in Joan Laporta or not? And second, your thoughts, of course, on the injury issues that we do have for Min Lopez, Frankie, Ansu, and Andreas Christensen. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.
Yeah.